For the past many decades, people buy a lot more stuff than they actually need: new books, clothes, electronic items, etc. Most of them, after some time, either gets thrown away or are on the shelves for months, eating dust, never to be used again. In the age of rapid climate change and ever increasing pollution, millions of tons of waste every year is being thrown away in the ocean. What if instead of buying something and then throwing it away or letting it sit on the shelf or garage and collect dust, we could share it with someone who needs it and then at the same time generate a value out of it? And that's the idea behind collaborative consumption. And our Alaska protocol is taking it to a next level with blockchain technology. Alaska is a collaborative consumption protocol that allows users to share their stuff with other users through blockchain and peer to peer networks. It allows anyone to share their goods and services however they like using what we call a protocol and vessel architecture. Think of a vessel like a collection of specific items and a protocol which act as a middleman who decide how these items will be transacted in the vessel. So for example, if you want to land a car in, let's say, New York, you can choose a vessel containing cars in a New York and a protocol that allows you to land a car for a certain time. Or you can create a protocol that allows you to swap items between any two vessels. The unique thing about this vessel and protocol are that they are very independent of each other and talk through a very known shared language. So there's a high level of interoperability while still being able to interact with each other. This vessel protocol architecture system gets integrated by what we have created, the Alaska infrastructure, which contains over 10 plus canisters working in harmony to bring about this system. Such system holds many applications, but that's not enough. With vessel and protocol architecture, we have created freedom in how would you like to share. Now, user convenience and trust is what we believe are the two most biggest problems for the mainstream adoption of sharing applications like Alaska. How we solve our first problem is one of the most coolest part of our application, and we call it Alaska Indexer. You can do your basic stuff like search throughout all the available protocols, vessels, and profiles, but you can also do sort of like a Google search for the action you want to do. So, for example, I want to land a bike near me, you can say that, or I can say I want to land above and beyond book. And the Alaska Indexer will automatically provide you with a complete receipt for the transaction you want to do. And all you have to do is to click a button and the transaction is complete. But you don't want to share your item in fear. Am I sharing with a good person? What if he's a stealer or a irresponsible person who will damage my item? So for this reason, we have built a new trust system which aim to be the most robust and resilient in tackling bots, bad actors, and fraudulent people while respecting the privacy of users. Alaska Trust System has mainly two parts: user to user trust and user to protocol trust. In our user to user trust system, everybody trust is connected with each other. A user trust is calculated through the trust of the peers he has interacted with. So, for let's say I have transacted with already very trustworthy profiles, my trustworthiness will increase, and users can give each other trust scores between 1 to 100 when they have done transaction with them. Another feature is that the trust system gives more weightage to the recent received trust scores. So when a bad actor starts doing some fraud, his trustworthiness substantially decreases, making other user aware that you should not participate with this user in a transaction. We also take account loans and credits in account. So when calculating trustworthiness, let's say that user has a high loans but low credits, his trustworthiness will decrease. And it has one cool side effect that this system will incentivize people to share more than what they actually lend. And in our trust to protocol, trust system, user to protocol, now the user that you share or that you transact with can have bugs or worse bad actors that put risk to your item. So for a protocol to prove itself and its legitimacy, it can stake coins on Alaska. In exchange, it gives them the ability to ask users for a fee to sustain their contract and gain profit. So if a protocol gets a bad reputation among the users, it slowly loses its stake, and the amount of fee it can receive from users decreases. Furthermore, protocol can ask Alaska to give an official contract audit and verification, which can act as a side stream for our business model, which mainly targets sharing economy market that is expected to grow by $2.5 billion. Some of the most undiscovered paradigm that Alaska opens is a concept called earn to access, or more specifically, earn trust to access. When there are enough profiles, vessels, protocols in Alaska, things slowly start to become free and available to everyone, only limited by the amount of trust one has gained. It is a net positive game. It is something that has been never possible before, but now thanks to blockchain technology, it has an opportunity. Alaska opens a very fostering and diverse ecosystem where developers build innovative protocols and vessels, sharing tools and SDKs, and users help manage vessels and encourage people to index items. And we're also already seeing a path towards this. Internet communities are exponentially increasing, peer to peer communities are becoming more and more popular, and there's a big focus on environmental concerns and building amazing relationships. Thank you. Hey, so this is the transaction page, and here you can see kind of a cool light and dark theme button, the notifications you have received, your wallet button, and down there your navigation bar. And in the center you see is how we will do a transaction. You can see our profile over here, and here you can kind of pick the item you want to transact. So currently I want to transact a book, and between this there's a pick protocol. So the protocol you want to transact with. So currently we want to do book swap, and in the right you can pick the items you want to transact to. So you can do this in a two ways. You can either sort of go in a vessel and select item from there, or either you can go and search for a profile and select item from there. So what we mean here is we want to exchange our above and beyond book to the sapient one. So we will create our transaction, and so for the transaction to complete, both users have to approve and execute. You can see it over here. And in the between, you see how a protocol can sort of communicate with the user. We'll see this in the next example. So there is approve here. And so for the transaction to approve, you have to approve your item to the protocol. Looks like I've already done that. So when I have approved it, I can also execute it. And now the same should be done by the other user in order for the transaction to complete. So after I'm done that, you will see that the data here will update sort of automatically, and our transaction will finally execute over here. So we now on above and beyond, we will see that now we open Sapiens, and same will happen in the other profile. In this example, we will see how we can lend a book using a protocol. So in the right, we will choose our item. So in this protocol only allows you to lend a book only if you have a item from a certain vessel. In this case, a book pass vessel. And in the right, we will choose a book we want to transact and create our transaction. Everything will go similar to the previous protocol, but a bit different. You can see a quick transact button. It allows us to approve and execute the whole transaction with just a single button. So it's a very convenient button. And as we do that, we'll see our notifications. And this is where the messaging protocols messaging comes in. For example, let's say that a protocol wants to ask you a question, so you can give him an answer, and he will sort of do the transaction according to that. So right now he's asking how many days for you would like to do the like to lend the book for, and now we have choose that. And now so you'll see that we have approved the transaction, so the other user now needs to approve this as well. So I will execute from there, and we will see the data being updated over here too, and the transaction execute. So you will see that we have the book pass and we have landed above and beyond. So if I go to home page, and it also creates a loan for us. So it keeps track, yeah, that you have lent a book and you need to return it. You can see a cleared property false, and we can see why this loan was created. And here we can see that if we reload it, the button, we can see that, yeah, we have lost the book pass and now on this book right here. And the other user will own a credit for the same. So the third example we have to show is the most amazing one. Essentially, it shows a more real-world use case, and we will show how transactions can be made easier with Alaska Indexer and discuss a bit more about the vessel interportability. So what you see here is a 3D printed box, and down there is our power supply. It is connected to a Raspberry Pi, which kind of act as a mini computer. And we can see here is a GPS connect data, GPS module, which send all the data to this Raspberry Pi, and this Raspberry Pi updates a specific vessel that we will see soon. So imagine this box is kind of connected to a bicycle. So that bicycle is updating its GPS data to that vessel. And what these LEDs mean is that when it is glowing green, it means that it is available for somebody to land, and when it will glow red, it means that somebody has currently landed it. So let's get to the vessel which is being dated. So here it is on the bike pass. You can click on it, and this is the bike that is for the data is being updated. It is referring to, and down there is the all the GPS data, all the real-time GPS data we are seeing here. And because we are in a room currently, we can sort of get the real-time data. And so let's see how we can sort of lend this book. So now, and here you can kind of also search your protocols, vessel profiles, and transactions. So when a user want to transact, like imagine when a user want to land a bike, what do you want to search with? I want to land a bike near me, and there we go. And this is kind of the magic about the Alaska Index. It sort of shows you this Google search like experience, and when you click on one, it automatically pre-fills all the information for you, and you are only left then to kind of press transact button. Now we have to sort of do some verification about the transaction, and we will soon see after that that this bike will be given to us. So it is actually, it seems like, and we can see that a loan has been assigned to us because we have currently landed a bike with the ID1, and it's cleared false. And if we go to our owned item and we'll reload the page here, you can see that, yeah, the bike has landed to us, and magically when we see over here, we can see that the LED is now glowing red, means that somebody has landed this bike. Amazing.